Hello everybody, Zeidoktor here with Typical Manga Fan, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is going to be dedicated to Bleach, Chapter 676, Horn of Salvation. And we see our horn right there on Ichigo's head, as Orihime just kind of watches on and has flashbacks to Hollow Ichigo during the Okiura fight.
Yeah, and she remembers how he kind of lost himself. He wasn't able to, remember who he was and was out of control. But then she sees,
Not a problem
Ichigo,
this time.
Yeah, Ichigo turned and he's like, "Yep, hey," and
Your face red.
It's a big deal because we had 600, 500, over 500 chapters of him, learning about his hollow powers and then not being able to control it. Now we have one where he finally is in balance, in some type of balance with it, which is awesome.
Yep.
And it really shows Orihime doesn't have anything to be afraid of anymore. It's interesting that it's called Horn of Salvation, even though it's like a demonic type of horn, but it's still really cool. So yeah, so then he tells her to relax, saying like, I'm in control, and then Yuabog is all like, whoa, it's impressive. So this is you when your hollow powers are, and you and your hollow form have melded together with your power, and he's just like, yep. And then he talks about how he got his powers, Quincy from mom, Shinigami from dad, hollow from the mom that combined with the dad powers, all that stuff. And that, these are two swords that represent that, and how like.
I would say it sounds like it's referring to Old Man Zenketsu as the Quincy power and the Hollow Within as the Shinigami powers.
That's right. Like it's not really clear from the sentence, but basically it's because the hollow powers combined, the hollow powers from the mom combined with the Shinigami powers from the dad,
right.
Ever since he was conceived. So that's what he means. It's
right.
It's not phrased completely correctly. Actually, Techie 101 pointing this out too, like saying like, oh yeah, it's not really phrased correctly, but that's what he means.
I'll make a point of putting in the Viz version of the dialogue here because that's usually a little bit clearer.
Yeah. So then he talks about how like they if they remain under some type of balance, then they remain under control. But if the balance is destroyed, then the powers come out, and how like before he was always unleashed a lot of Shinigami and Hollow power, and and that's when the Hollow kind of went out of control.
Right.
But because the power is kind of melded into his own. He wants to be able to control it, but he says like it's this is my first time, so this is why I use your power to kind of act as a catalyst.
And my understanding from that is like if he uses one power too much, the other one kind of kicks in.
I mean, one theory out there is that because his powers, so Shinigami and Hollow, which is kind of like the enemies of Quincy's, that he needed the Quincy powers to kind of like piss off or agitate the Hollow Shinigami power, something like that. So I wonder if he's gonna have like a Quincy form too. I don't know, but he seems like he obviously prefers the Shinigami Hollow because that's what he's been using his entire life.
Yeah.
So maybe it might come out, but I hope it's not like I hope it avoids any Deus Ex Machina types of situations.
Yep.
Yuabok is getting like a hard on because of this. He's happy that Ichigo's actually developing, and then he flash steps in front of Actually, I don't know what he did. So Nino a flash step. I actually don't really know which one he
moves fast.
Yeah, he moves fast. He goes right in front of Orihime's powers, and she also says Kurosaki-kun. So there's actually I think by the end of the chapter she says Kurosaki-kun 6 times since the fight began.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, it's so fast. But for me, I'm like, well, he's shown that over and over again. Like he did that the moment when he first fought the.
Speed's always been a thing for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's always been a pretty good thing. I guess he's faster now. That's the point. But sort of like, well, at a certain from our perspective, we can't really tell. He's always been faster than a normal human being, and even faster than a normal Shinigami.
But he has not yet mastered the speed of the Blue Hedgehog.
No one's faster than Sonic. That's just not. That's not possible.
Yeah.
So basically, he's like, okay, look, let's spread out a bit. Keep Eureka defending Mariatsu and make you back to safety. And so what I like is that even though he's got this huge power up, Orihime isn't sidelined. She still has a purpose in this fight. And as I said before, I still don't like the fact that she got here without any buildup. But if we're gonna do it anyway, we might as well do it right. So I'm glad that they're actually keeping her useful.
Relevant. Yeah.
Yeah, relevant. Yeah, there we go. And so he makes a big explosion. Yuabok is like, yeah, awesome! I'm gonna take my sword out too. And then before he does that, this is double pace spreads all over the place, by the way.
Yep.
So he does this basically what he did to Aizen, and he just like he didn't get to the face, but he stops his sword. Because when he did it with Aizen, he kind of just slammed it in the face. But he blitzes Yuabok and he grabs his sword to make the hilt of his sword. His hand on the hilt of the sword to make sure he doesn't actually draw it out. and then he uses his other sword. Ichigo uses his other sword. Is he? Yeah. Wait, he's using both swords, right?
I don't know. It looks like he's
better. No, he's only using one sword right now.
Yeah, and you're talking about the one you watched caught in his hand, right?
Yeah. So he has one hand on Yuabok's hands on the hilt. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, he uses his. I guess the other sword's like in his sheath, or he's not using it right now. But he's using the sword in his right hand to slash Yuabok.
Yeah.
And then it causes a big, explosion. But Yuabok catches it, and Yuabok's like, well, this is not enough. You can't do this. This power is not strong enough to pierce me. And then Ichigo backs off, and he starts to do an attack. And then Yuabok, like, I'm sure it's like he's reading this as a manga too. He's like, get the show. Come on, different approach, same predictable result. And
I do like this effect here.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what this effect is supposed to look like. And then there's something swirling around. If anyone watches Bleach or read Bleach, you know what swirls around is. Wait, this is not a normal Getsuka show. Ichigo's doing this with his horn, right? Because that's what he. Okay, so.
I think so.
Horn and his sword.
Yeah, sword and horn together. Like he's combining something with it. It sounds like.
Yeah, and he's fusing to get something together with the Getsuka show. And then I love this. I'm gonna say this. Okay, wait, one second. Grand Ray Zero!
Yay!
Yes! Yes!
He's mixing the Sero with the Getsuka? Is that the right takeaway here?
Yeah, basically. But he's using a Grand Ray Zero, not just a normal Zero, a Grand Ray Zero, which is something that's only been done once by Grimjaw, really early on, earlier in the manga, and it's awesome because it means like Flash with the Hollow King. It's just so awesome.
Yeah.
And then he actually slashes Yuabok. I mean, I said it last chapter. I wanted to see Seros, and I'm glad he's doing it.
Yeah.
I really wish.
I think a lot of people wanted to see Seros.
Yeah, he never did it when he had his visor powers. Even though all the other visors showed that. I mean, I know that he's not like a visor, and he's kind of different from a visor because he has other shit too. And he had his hollow powers from the very beginning, whereas the visors kind of got it through the Hogyoku. But I always thought that he could still be able to use the Sero since his hollow powers, at least when they were in control, could use it. And you can argue, well, he wasn't trained. I'm like, okay, but then just having the hollow powers augment his physical abilities is kind of boring, It's not like a stat boost, in a video game. We want an actual new ability. That's the point of a new form. So that's why I really like the fact that he did it. And I like his eyes too. Like he's actually like you can see Hollow Ichigo in that.
And you got a little evil grin going there too.
Yeah, I was about to just mention that's the Ichigo, the Hollow Ichigo thing too. It's just it's so awesome.
Yeah, my only real gripe is that this is just critical hit number 1.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to something interesting. I was going to say this during the chapter summary, but I forgot to.
Yeah.
Yuabok couldn't predict anything that Ichigo was going to do. Like he didn't foresee Ichigo stopping him from pulling his sword out, and he didn't see Ichigo doing a Grand Ray Zero. But I thought he was. Is he not using his powers yet? I mean, I thought he turned it back on. Did he? Or did he not? What did we?
I don't know. It's like I thought he was. He was at least pulling on the Soul King powers because he got all black and liquidy.
Yeah. Well, I know he said he didn't. He turned it off because he wanted to talk to Ichigo. But I guess we all assume. I never assumed. But I remember you talking about. You told me like, oh well, he has his power. He's using the power, so I guess he has to be using his almighty powers again. But is he still not using it? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Of his own. It's not even because he can't. It's because of his own free will that he's not doing it. Which is kind of almost ruins it,
It is just kind of a dumbass move.
Yeah, because then you know that he's just holding back. I mean, you know that because he's the final boss, but it's not just because this is a shonen manga and that's how the trope usually goes. It's because he already told you like 2 chapters ago that I'm not going to use my almighty power. Yeah, because he's surprised. I mean, if you know everything, then you're not supposed to be surprised. So and that's the worst part is that when he uses it, he's gonna make this seem like nothing. He's gonna be like, oh, it didn't affect me at all. And that's what really almost ruins it. I mean, like I enjoyed the fighting. I enjoyed it. Why did you ruin my enjoyment?
Well, let's say maybe we actually have done something here. It's not likely, but we may well see next week that something actually happened because of this.
Well, then it just makes Yuabok like an idiot when not using his almighty powers. I know, cocky villain, blah blah blah. But it's such an.
I mean, alternatively, he was using his powers, and this somehow, was some kind of weird blind spot. But then you said before we started this that we don't know enough about how the almighty works yet. But that's it. We do know that it's possible for there to be blind spots.
But if there was a blind spot, then he would have pointed it out in the chapter. Because from our perspective, we can only take what's been given to us from Yuabox's expressions and the way what he says. And this is a guy who doesn't shut up, right? So I feel like if Ichigo was a blind spot, you think that'd be important enough for Yuabox to point that out in this chapter. Because this is the chapter where everything's happening. Because this is not he didn't get surprised once. He got surprised twice. Which is the first time was when Ichigo stopped his sword. Actually, even better. Did he even predict the fact that Ichigo had that transformation? Because he kind of seems surprised but also amused.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we know his dream showed like old Shinigami Ichigo like getting ready to attack him.
Okay. Let's assume that he knew that Ichigo was going to do this transformation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then he wasn't able to see the fact that Ichigo stopped his sword, and he wasn't able to see Ichigo doing a Grand Reisero. It's sort of like, well, then I feel at that point he'd be like, wait, it's not working. It's not even working once. Like his power is so OP that you think if it just didn't work one time, he'd be like, something's not right. Like it doesn't even have to be blatant. It doesn't have to be obvious. You can just say something like him saying, wait, something's not right, and say something, say that type of sentence. Because then it just feels like you're ignoring such a big plot point, like a crucial plot point, Like, even if it's to delay it to the next chapter, then he says, "Oh, why couldn't I see it?" It feels like you're delaying it now when this is actually the best time to say it.
I see your point, because you could just have like a single panel in there and say something like how did I not predict this or something like that? I don't want to say this cannot be because that's such a cliche thing, but you get my point.
The best thing he can say something like wait. He'll just say wait ... And then Ichigo slashes him, and then Ichigo will keep slashing him, and then that way he won't have time to say something else. So that you know he's thinking about it, saying what's going on, but it's not like in your face. Like people say, oh, you don't want to make it too obvious, right? Mm-hmm. Well, make him just say the word wait when Ichigo stops his sword, and then Ichigo just keeps attacking him, and then backs off and does Grand Reisero immediately, and that way you know that Yuabok didn't have time to say anything, but he's thinking about it. That would be good enough. That's subtle, but also not not like completely ignoring it.
I mean, we did kind of see him like react a little bit to this in surprise.
But there was but then there was a point where Ichigo backed off, and he's still like, oh well, okay, that happened. What's this? Let's get to the Tencho. Like he had time to still he had time to kind of say all that, but instead he just like ignores what just happened and is like, oh well, and just mocks Ichigo again. So. That's my criticism for the chapter, and not because and the reason why I'm harsh on this one is because if you took that out, it is so awesome. It is so my gosh. I mean, Ichigo using Grand. I was waiting for this moment for so long. I mean, since I started reading Bleach, or getting into it roughly when they were in the Weko Mundo arc, right? So this is the first thing I was kind of exposed to. And it's been that long since I've been wanting. I mean, I've been wanting a Sero. Since then, like an actual controlled Sero that he does of his own free will, not because of a hollow thing.
Yeah.
But I had to wait this long. So, how long has it been? Like what? 7 years? Something like that.
Something like that.
Because it keeps using, and it's only been using Getsuga Tensho the entire time. Oh no, or final Getsuga. It's like, oh come on, use something different. At least now we can have some. I hope he does something more. I hope there's more after this. I hope the Grand Reisero isn't just the only thing.
That's not the only thing we see. Like we might see him doing more different things with this.
Yeah, I hope it's not the only cream of the crop. I hope it's not the only cream of the crop. I hope this is a sign of more to come.
Yeah.
Because, and I really hope they don't do the whole you didn't affect me. I hope that even though obviously the fight's not gonna end, I just hope that it does something. Even if it's not like a big hit, at least some damage. Like a scratch, even just a scratch. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Because not even Yamamoto was able to do that. Well, I mean, then again, he didn't even have a chance to attack him. But
yeah, because he fucked the fake one.
No one. Yeah. Sorry.
He used up all his power fighting the fake one.
Yeah, that was. Or who's the other guy? Ichibei. Nobody was able to ever to actually land a permanent scratch on Yobok. So just give him a damn scratch. Just that. Come on, let's do that. Right? Then it can feel like I'm doing feel like Ichigo's doing something. Because that's the problem with Bleach. It would not even that. Where you have these awesome moments, and then the next turn comes, and then it doesn't. Not only does it show that he still obviously has more things to show off, more that the fight's going to continue on, but it makes it so that whatever happened before it didn't even amount to anything, and not like Naruto was better with this. Like, you know how even though Madara was dominant the entire fight for like ever, he was still getting damage. I mean, he healed a lot, but he was still. You could tell like this guy actually did something, or he made him use up chakra. He made him use up something. You know, that's the thing. It feels like with Bleach you have a lot of this unlimited regeneration that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that it feels like
we talked before about how the Volstantic is bad about that.
Yeah, like it heals you completely, and it makes it so that, you know, whatever energy you lost gets replenished. It's not even just physical damage, like even just from energy. Like it feels like they have so much left in the tank once they it feels like they have almost nothing left in the tank, and then when they use Volstantic, their tank gets refilled. I've always thought, like, you know, like I always thought that transformation should always have like a pro and con. Like if you use the transformation, you got less in the tank. You know, like that's what I liked about the Super Saiyan before. You know, in Dragon Ball Z, they say, you know, yeah, you can do this transformation, but then there's also problems where you can't last for certain long forever, or you know your energy gets used up quicker or something like that. Even though it's more powerful, and that's why the Master Super Saiyan, the one where the hyperbolic time chamber version was so useful, because it actually minimized those cons. And so that's what I loved about that part of Dragon Ball Z, you know. And I really hope that the next few chapters don't disappoint me, because we're getting somewhere, you know. Excluding like the whole
your hopes are up, you don't want to be let down kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, excluding the whole, I think Yu Box should be using his powers to begin with. That way we don't have a predictable. Oh, I actually wasn't using my powers. Now I am. So then what you did was nothing to me.
Yeah.
I wish you did that. So that way we could actually, you know, get something like actually, you know, be invested. Oh, how's he gonna get through this? Okay, he does that. Like, you know, really be into it, not rather than just be like, okay, you know, like we see. I don't want to see the formula. I only want to see the fight. You know, I don't want to see the formula behind it. Even with all the experience I've had reading manga, like you know, there's still ways for me to get invested and not see things. So I'm really hoping for that. But okay, but God, sir, yes, finally, 7 years in the waiting, at least.
Yep. Is it at least 7 years? Yeah, you're right, because I think, probably even longer than that, 'cause I remember when I got into it during the Arncar arc, and I remember that was a long time ago.
Because 2010 was when Kubo said he would start the 8 years. So 2010 was roughly, I think, Fullbringer time. I think I was out at the end of Karakura Town and somewhere along in the Fullbringer arc. That was 2010, so that means 2009 was before, because I was the chapter actually that was released the week I got into Bleach was the one when he actually finished off Grimjaw, that final slash. That was the week that I started Bleach, like, you know, with dedication, you know, not just like casually watching it. So that has to be around somewhere around 2009 or early 2010, but it can't be 2010, 2009.
I would say even earlier than that, because I'm trying to remember where I was, like, at the time, and I can remember, like, that was a long, long time ago.
Because then there was the Turn Back the Pendulum and Karakura Town arc. I mean, yeah, probably even earlier, maybe 2008. Actually, maybe 2000. Yeah, it might be 2008 too. One of those things. Yeah, definitely. It's just long enough. I'll just say that. So yeah, you can tell I got hyped, but I also know better. So I really hope that Kubo doesn't jerk me around with this.
Yeah, it's like and there's decent odds on that, just because, like, at this point I don't know how much faith we really have here. Yeah, but he's looking good so far.
I just hope my pessimistic attitude doesn't make me right. You know, this is a time when well, I mean, I always want to be wrong, but I really hope that my pessimism is wrong with this. I really hope so. My gosh, I want to enjoy this so much, and I kind of am. Just I'm getting more and more into it. Just please, in the next upcoming chapters, don't ruin this for me.
Yeah, I've been kind of ambivalent on this one here, just because of the past track record. But I do think this was a pretty cool chapter. Otherwise, I do like the crescent moon effect that the Getsuga had this time around. If it's ever happened before, something like that's ever happened before, I have not noticed it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We both know about the track record of Bleach, but that's the thing. Like, I want to like it. Like, we're not haters who want to hate it. We want to like it. Especially me. I really, you can tell. Like, I really want to like it.
I mean, when something good happens, you are very excited about it. So,
yeah, it's just like I at the same time though, I don't want to turn a blind eye to stuff. You know, I don't want to look the other way when something bad actually happens. I want to be I want to look at both pros and cons and be as fair as possible, you know. But at the same time, I also do want to get invested into the story, really invested. I want to get into the hype. I really do, because I want to enjoy the manga. That is my ultimate goal, to enjoy something, right?
Yeah.
And Bleach gave me that, and that's why I stuck around with it for so long, because they used to give me that, even though it's this whole time it kind of went crazy. But I always hate not finishing stuff. Even if it never gets good again, I just want to finish it for closure.
Yeah. And then, like I said, to me, I confess I've kind of taken something of a Mystery Science Theater 3000 attitude towards Bleach. Like, it's not that I dislike it, it's just I read it expecting to find something to mock. I kind of do. That's why I keep coming up with things like the redneck accent for Ewok or Tweety Bar or things like that.
Yeah. I mean, people always have different ways of enjoying stuff.
Yeah.
It's whatever rocks your boat. All right.
Exit. But in any case, that has been our review of Bleach, Chapter 676, Horn of Salvation. Take us away.
Bye!